Chapter 285 of Shrimadbhagavatam, Bhakti again. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Uddhava wanted to know more about the excellence of the Bhakti Yoga. He said, Krishna, different people advocate different pathways to obtain moksha. Do they all lead to the same goal? Does each one choose the pathway suited to his temperament and reach the goal in his own way? Tell me, is Bhakti Yoga, which has been described by you, the best yoga? Is it the best means to help man draw his mind away from all attachments and think on you and only you? Contemplate on you day and night? The Lord said, if you have been following my words all this while, you will surely have been convinced that it is so. Still, I will elaborate on it once again. During the great deluge, the Vedas, which form the keystone of all dharma, became submerged under the waters. At the beginning of creation, I taught the Vedas to Brahma, the creator. He taught the lesson to his son Manu, and from him it passed on to Bhrigu, Marichi, and the other brothers. Their sons learned the Vedas from their fathers, and so the great teachings were well and truly propagated in the world. During creation, when Prakriti manifested itself, the gunas made their appearance too. They caused the desires and subsequent vasanas in created beings. Each one interpreted the Vedas according to the manner in which his vasanas influenced him and his way of thinking. There is a story about this. The Devas, Asuras, and the human beings were all asking the Prajapati to guide them in the proper way of living. To each, Prajapati answered, The Devas understood the letter to mean Dhamayata, meaning control your Indriyas. The Asuras understood it to mean Dayadhvam, meaning do not ill-treat others, but be compassionate. Human beings understood the letter to mean Datta, meaning be charitable. Give as much as you can. Uddhava, you can see how the Vasanas have influenced the three classes to understand the same letter. The Devas are famed for giving free rein to the Indriyas, the Asuras for their cruelty, and humans for their miserliness, and so they read their own meaning into the word. The word moksha itself is defined differently by different people. The advocates of the Karma Kanda consider dharma and moksha to be synonyms. Those who have studied Kavyalankara, the students of poetics, consider fame to be the ultimate moksha. According to them, man enjoys the pleasures of Swarga for a certain duration of time. This time is 1,000 times as much as the time his fame remains alive on the earth. Some even consider the gratification of desires as moksha. The realistics speak of moksha as a word meaning truth speaking, controlling the senses and reining the wandering mind. Yajna, tapas, dhana, vrutas are all considered as moksha by different persons. Now, the rewards obtained by some of these are no doubt there. Dwelling in the heavens for a certain length of time and similar rewards are obtained by those who strive for them. But, Uddhava, all these have a beginning and so an end. Pleasure in the beginning becomes but sorrow in the end. As for bhakti towards me, the results are different. On the one hand, there are these pleasures, and on the other, the ultimate happiness one gets by surrendering himself to me. My bhakta has no desires and no wishes to fulfill except to think on me. How can you equate the smallness of the one with the enormity of the other? My bhakta will have no thought of owning anything and calling it his. His indriyas have been conquered by him long ago. His mind, his thoughts, and even his words are all set on me and only me. He has attained such a degree of perfection in maintaining his equanimity that the heavens The earth and the nether world will all look alike to him. He is happy only when he thinks of me. Such a man does not desire the Satyaloka, which is the abode of Brahma. He is not interested in the state of Indriya, in the state of Indra, the Lord of the heavens. He does not hanker after the sovereignty of the entire world. He does not seek the achievement of the 8 siddhis. In short, he does not ask for moksha. All that he asks for is that his thoughts should forever rest on me. Release from other thoughts is his definition of moksha. Uddhava, you do not know how much I love you since you are my bhakta. Brahmadeva, who is my son, is not so dear to me. Mahadeva, my alter ego, is not so dear to me. Though he is my brother, even Balarama is not as dear to me as you are, nor is my beloved wife Lakshmi. This very body of mine is not a thing of importance. My thoughts pursue the Muni who is without any desires, whose mind is tranquil, who hates no one, and who considers heaven and hell as equal. The dust of his feet is enough to purify the entire universe which is inside me. The joy which is in the minds of my bhaktas will never be like the inferior kind of pleasure which others manage to obtain by pursuing the karma kanda. If at the beginning of his attempt my bhakta finds it hard to control his indriyas, still because of his bhakti for me, he will cease to be bothered by them very soon. Even like firewood is turned to ashes because of the fire burning it, bhakti will destroy all the sins of man. The practice of yoga, knowledge of Sankhya, the practice of dharma, knowledge of the Vedas, tapas or sannyasa, none of these will charm me and enslave me as bhakti will. A bhakta is easily recognized by the softness of his heart, his compassionate nature, the tears of joy which flow from his eyes when he hears my name or even when he thinks of me, the thrill he experiences when he reaches the very pinnacle of joy, which makes him dance and sing without restraint. If there is no bhakti in the heart of man, his mind then cannot be purified. Gold, which is thrown into the blazing fire, will melt, lose all its dross in the process, and becomes pure again. Even so, my bhakti purifies the worst of sinners. Thoughts on things of the world makes a man strive for them, and similarly, constant contemplation on me makes the mind of man strive for me and me alone. And so, Uddhava, avoid unreal things which are like the objects seen in a dream world and think on me and me alone. A man with a good intellect will be able to achieve perfect control over the senses. Consider the body as a chariot and the Atman as the owner of the chariot. You. Make your intellect the charioteer and let his hands hold the reins of the unruly steeds which go by the name senses. Believe me, you will soon reach me and attain eternal happiness. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishnar Pranamast. Chapter 286 of Shrimadbhagavatam, The Vibhutis of the Lord. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Uddhava asked Krishna, You are the Parabrahman. You are the cause of the creation as well as the destruction of this universe, and you sustain it too. You have no beginning and you have no end. No avarana covers you. Tell me about your many vibhutis. Tell me about the objects which are the objects of worship for those who are considered to be your bhaktas. I salute you and take the dust of your feet, your blessed feet, where the sacred Ganga had her birth. Krishna's smile was full of reminiscence, and he said, Uddhava, on the battlefield by name Kurukshetra, I was asked the same question by Arjuna the Pandava. He was sorely distressed. He was against killing his cousins. He told me that it was sinful to fight. He was sure that the war was against all codes of dharma, and he wanted to go away from the field of battle. I had to teach him the Brahma Vidya to rid him of the delusion he was suffering from. The delusion that he was the killer and that the doomed men were different from him, and that killing them would surely make him a sinner. I convinced him that he should fight, and it was then, when he realized that I am the Brahman, that he asked me the same question you now pose before me. I will tell you what I told him then. I am the soul of all living things here in this world. I am also your cousin and your Lord too. I am the cause of the birth and the death of all things. Among the gunas, I am the balance maintained by them before creation manifests itself because of me. I am the supreme spirit out of which is manifested Prakriti. I am the Mahat Tattva. Among the things which it is not easy to conquer, I am the mind. Among the teachers of the Vedas, I am the Brahmadeva. Among the mantras, I am Om, the Pranava. Among the letter, I am the letter A. I am Gayatri among the Chandases. I am Indra among the gods. Agni among the Vasus. Vishnu among the Adityas and Mahadeva among the Rudra. I am Bhrigu among the Brahmarshis. Among the Devarshis, I am Narada and I am Kamadhenu among the cows. Kapila among the Siddhas, Daksha among the Prajapatis, and Garuda among the birds. Among the Pitris, I am Aryama. Among the Daityas, I am Prahallada. Chandra among the celestial bodies. Kubera among the Yakshas, and I am Airavata, the best among the elephants. I choose to be Varuna among the inmates of the ocean and among luminous things. I am the sun. I am the horse Uchchaishravas, and I am the king among human beings. I am gold among the metals, and among punishers I am Yama. Vasuki among the serpents, and Adisesha among the Nagas. I am the lion among the animals. The best among ashramas is sannyasa, and I am that. Among the flowing rivers, I am Ganga, and among the storehouse of water, I am the ocean. Among the weapons, I am the bow. I am Mahadeva, the killer of Tripura, among the archers. I am the Meru peak, and among mountains, I am Himavan. I am Ashwatha among the trees. I am Vashishta among the Purohitas. And among the scholars, I am Brahaspati. I am Skanda among warriors. I am the Brahma Yajna, and I am the Samadhi which goes by the name Chitta Nirodha, meaning controlling the mind. Among the many branches of knowledge, I am the Brahma Vidya. I am Vasanta among the seasons, Margashirsha among the 12 months, and Abhichit among the stars. Abhijit is made up of the last 4 padas of Uttarashada and the first 4 padas of Shravana. I am the Krita Yuga, and among the wise I am Shukra. Among my bhaktas I am you, Uddhava. I am the Kusha grass among the Dharbas, and among the types of Havis I am the cow's ghee. I am Shatarupa among women and Swayambhu Manu among men. Narayana among the Munis and Sanat Kumara among the Brahmacharins. I am wealth for those who strive, and among cheaters I am the game of dice. I am the patience in a patient man, and I am the Sattva in the Sattvika. I am Vasudeva among the 9 Bhagavatas. Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Narayana, Hayagriva, Varaha, Narasimha, and Brahmadeva. I am the firmness in the mountains and the fragrance of the earth. I am the sweetness in water. Among the good, I am Bali, and among heroes, I am Arjuna. Karmendriyas, Gnanendriyas, and their power to function are all because of me. I am the Tanmatras of the 5 elements, and the Aham Tattva, which is the cause of these, the five Mahabhutas and the 11 Indriyas and their functioning, the Purusha, Prakriti, and the three Gunas, and the Brahman, whose manifestations are there. There is nothing which is not me. I pervade everything and I am everything. Uddhava, I have tried to tell you some of my vibhutis. I may be able to count the grains of sand which comprise the earth, but I cannot count my vibhutis. Remember this. Wherever you see extraordinary glory, wealth, fame, power, goodness, generosity, beauty, which pleases the eye and the mind, good fortune, bravery, control of the six enemies lodged inside you, wisdom and serenity, know that I am there always. But Uddhava, these vibhutis are but incidental. Do not spend too much time or thought on them. If you want to reach me, control your speech, control your mind, your breath, your senses. Cultivate Sattva Guna, thus and only thus can you reach me. Once you have mastered these, you will never again fall into the morass by name samsara. Without these, the performing of vritas and even tapas will be like water escaping from a mud vessel which has not been burnt in fire. One who has chosen me as his savior will surrender his thoughts, his words, his very life to me, and he can be assured of becoming one with me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishnar Pranamast. Chapter 287 of Shrimadbhagavatam, the different pathways. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Uddhava, continued the Lord, as long as man is alive, as long as he continues to live in this world of men, three types of tribulations visit him and he has to live with them. They go by the name Tapatraya. The three tapas, Adhyatmika, Adidhaivika and Adibhautika. These three were not there in the beginning, nor will they exist at the end. Therefore, since they occur during the transit of the Atman through this world of illusion, they are also the product of Maya. These vikaras, as they are called, have a birth, a period of time while they exist, and they have an end. As such, they have no powers to upset the really wise man. Once you realize that you are pure awareness, you need have no fear of them. They will never be able to come in the way of your realization of the truth. Man, in his ignorance, sees a rope and mistakes it to be a snake. When the mistake is there, it is accompanied by a fear of the snake. But then, once he realizes that it is his own imagination which has caused this misconception and nothing else, man is free from the fear. The snake made its appearance and existed during a particular interval of time during which the intelligence of man was clouded. When he realized his error, the snake vanished. The rope, however, was there before the man saw it, was there when he mistook it for a snake, and it continued to be there after he realized its true nature. Even so, the Tapatrayas, Adhyatmika, Adidhaivika, and Adibhautika occur only during the transit of the Atman through the world of illusion and are themselves part of this Maya. And so, Uddhava, try your utmost to obtain true jnana, understanding. With this jnana, you will realize your pratyagatma to be the Brahman himself. The only yajna you have to perform is this yajna, whose purpose is the realization of the Brahman. The purification ceremony for this jnana yajna is bhakti. With your thoughts and your mind purified by your absolute bhakti in me, pursue the path of jnana and you will attain your goal. Uddhava was still puzzled by the different terms which had been used by Krishna. He asked, Krishna, tell me something about Vairagya and Vijnana, and tell me how they are linked with Bhakti Yoga, which in your opinion is the best pathway. If one can reach you by practicing bhakti alone, why should one worry about gnana, vijnana, and vairagya? I am confused by the many terms used by you. Krishna said, when Bhishma, the great Kaurava veteran, was lying on the bed of arrows, waiting for the advent of Uttarayana, so that he could shed his earthly frame, Yudhishthira the Pandava asked him the same question. Bhishma taught him the moksha dharma, comprised of gnana, vairagya, vijnana, shraddha and bhakti. I will try and recount to you his words. Prakriti, Purusha, Mahat Tattva, Ahamkara, the 5 Tanmatras form a group of 9. The 5 Karmendriyas, the 5 Jnanendriyas and the mind form 11. The 5 Mahabhutas and the 3 Gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas form 8. All these together make up the number 28. These are the factors which determine the manifestation of the world of Maya. When the intellect is able to perceive the truth beyond these manifestations, when it is possible for one to realize that the same Paramatman pervades all these, this ability to realize the Brahman, to see the Brahman as the cause and the effect which are responsible for this world of objects, is, in the opinion of the wise, jnana. One should be able to perceive that the chain of effects which have their origin in the primal cause and consider the world around us, the samsara made up of the 3 gunas, has a birth, an existence and death. As a consequence of this, it is not permanent, nor eternal, nor present forever. This primal cause which does undergo these apparent changes, assumes a certain form in the beginning, goes through the cycle of changes and at the end of it seem to be completely different from what it was in the beginning. At the time of the great deluge, only the cause will remain and that will be constant. That is the only truth and the search for this truth. The cause for the phenomenon called Maya is Vijnana. And again, intellectually, you may know the cause of the universe and the end of it. You may have been taught the lesson that everything is Brahman and all the rest is but Maya. To understand the truth is one thing and to realize it is quite another. The knowledge that the world of objects is illusion is called Paroksha Gnana. You are aware of the fact that there is a cause for the manifestation called the world, and you can arrive at the reality behind this only by realizing the truth, and this realization is called Aparoksha Gnana. This attempt and the success of it are called Gnana and Vijnana. I will now tell you about Vairagya. Shruti, Pratyaksha and Anumana are 3 things which lead man into the state of Vairagya. The sacred book says that there is no truth other than the Brahman. This is Shruti. This truth has been taught by the Vedas and the Upanishads. When we see a cloth which is made up of threads which form the woof and warp of the cloth, we realize that the cloth is nothing other than the threads which make it look like cloth, and that the cloth is in reality nothing but the combination of the threads. The threads are there and their combination goes by the name cloth. But when the essentials are studied, the threads are permanent while the cloth disappears. For instance, when the threads are pulled apart, this goes by the name Pratyaksha. Great seers have spoken from their experience of the truth, from their realization of it, that the world of plurality is false. It is there, but it is not there like the silver in a seashell. When a seashell is seen in the light of the sun, its luster gives the impression that it is lined with silver. The silver is seen by the eye, but the man of intelligence knows that it only seems to be silver, but it is not silver. This glow which lines the inside of a seashell. From the words of the wise and from one's own thinking on it, the Vijnana realizes that the world of objects is a web of Maya, that it is the result of the combination of the gunas and the Mahabhutas and their various combinations, that in reality there is nothing permanent except the Brahman. Hence, he develops Vairagya, which is non-attachment to the things of the world, knowing them to be impermanent. Even when man performs actions performed by the karma and inherits the heavens because of them, the Vairagi knows that even this is false. As for bhakti, I have already spoken to you about it. I have elaborated on it. Even an ordinary man can be trained to develop bhakti in me, a desire to develop stories about me, relating these stories to others, worshipping me with real earnestness, honoring those who are my bhaktas, considering all beings with love and compassion, talking only about me even while engaged in worldly duties and tasks, surrendering the mind to me, abandoning all desires and wants. All these will make a man devoted to me on his own accord, and he will be my bhakta. Even if he does not succeed in the beginning to devote all his attention to me, he will, in course of time, do so because of practice, application. The achievement of the siddhis is wealth. The realization that there is but one Brahman is gnana, and non-attachment to the objects of world is vairagya. I repeat, the achievements of the siddhis is wealth. The realization that there is but one Brahman is gnana, and non-attachment to the objects of the world is vairagya. Jai Shri Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Chapter 288 of Shrimadbhagavatam, the three paths. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. For man to obtain moksha, three pathways have been indicated. These are Gnana, Karma and Bhakti. There is no fourth pathway to salvation. There are some emancipated souls who have reached the conclusion that action leads to nothing but sorrow, and the results of one's action lead one to further entanglement. They never lead one to freedom from pleasure or pain. Those who have realized this are those who have voluntarily given up all actions and have adopted sannyasa. For them, Gnana Yoga grants freedom easily, since they have already traveled a great distance towards the realization of truth. There are those who have not yet learned to give up the results of their actions, who do not aspire to vairagya, since they are still harboring desires in their hearts and they want the fulfillment of these desires. For such men, Karma Yoga has been prescribed as the best pathway. There are, however, a fortunate few who, because of some rare good fortune, have been blessed with a love for me and a desire to listen to stories about me. Such a man is not a gnani like the one who has abandoned all desires. He has not learned the art of detachment, nor has he developed vairagya in the real sense of the word. He is not lost in the worldly possessions completely, but neither is he completely rid of his bonds. Such a man should pursue Karma Yoga until he attains vairagya. That is to say, he should pursue the duties prescribed for a grihastha, but he should perform them in such a manner that his mind does not dwell on the promised rewards. In course of time, he will attain vairagya. He will become my bhakta if, along with this vairagya, there is in his mind bhakti for me. One thing essential for the practice of bhakti yoga is the human body. Even heavenly beings pine for this human form. The celestial or astral bodies are not fitted for the rigorous demands of gnana or bhakti yoga. The grace of the Lord, the company of sadhus, a love for the Lord, and eternal presence in the places where the stories of the Lord are related or sung. This is possible only for a human being, and that is the reason why great rishis like Vyasa prefer to wander on the face of the earth rather than go to the heavens, where they have places assured since ever so long ago because of their tapas. And since this human body is the best among created beings, man should not desire to be born again as a human being either. Though it is a means to the great end, namely realization of the truth, still the body in itself is perishable and death will come soon. So, man should try and achieve his goal before death can claim his body. It is like a tree, this body. A bird has built a nest in it and has been living in it for a long time. All on a sudden, a man with an axe approaches the tree, and without consideration for the birds living in the nests on the tree, he cuts it down, and the tree as well as the nests in it fall to the ground. A really wise bird will not sit and mourn it and try to return to the fallen tree. Man should shed idleness, and with eagerness he should pursue the path to moksha. Only a man who has learnt detachment can achieve this. Several days and several nights have passed by. One's life is being nibbled away slowly but very steadily day after day. Realizing this, man should try to hasten in the practice of the yogas. He should learn bhakti and vairagya, and he will surely reach the coveted liberation from bondage. This life of man on earth can be compared to a boat which is sailing on the sea by name samsara. For the boat to reach across safely, the oarsman should be a guru who knows how to help man. He is not to be found easily, but when found, he will do his utmost to steer your boat safely. I am the breeze, the favorable breeze which will waft the boat safely. Without these two, the boat will sink, meaning man will forever be sunk in the morass called samsara and will never find freedom from it. Man should, on his own accord, become disgusted with the performing of actions. He should control his indriyas so that his mind is not led into the world of objects. He should train the mind on the contemplation of the eternal, and he should practice to steady the mind in this task. His meditation should be incessant. This is dharma. The mind, when it is entangled in dharana, is apt to lose power to concentrate and to wander towards earthly objects. When this happens, it should be brought under control gradually. One who is engaged in meditation and is troubled by this wandering of the mind should take the trouble not to starve the mind and deny it the pleasure it craves for. On the other hand, the desire should be granted. The vasanas should be exhausted and not suppressed. Once this happens, the rebel mind will be more docile and become pliable. Pranayama will bring the physical body under control, while meditation will discipline the mind. Even as a wise horseman will be able to tame a wild horse more easily if he allows it to run around for a while, even so should the intellect of man control the mind and its waywardness. A man who practices bhakti yoga has me and my image in his mind always, and so all other desires get destroyed on their own accord without any strenuous attempt on the part of the man. Man's ego gets destroyed when he thinks on me. And with the ego, most of the feelings which go with it get destroyed too. Even the karmas which have been accumulated in previous janmas become destroyed because of his bhakti. A real bhakta does not consider gnana yoga or vairagya to be very great, and he attains moksha in this birth itself. By means of bhakti, he attains all that can be achieved by the practice of karma, by tapas, by vairagya, yoga, dhana, and dharma, by traveling to holy spots on a pilgrimage with the intention of washing one's accumulated sins. Sadhus, who are my bhaktas, desire nothing but bhakti for me and their bhakti to be in their minds forever and forever. They do not desire Satyaloka or even Kaivalya. It will be evident that bhakti for me will be found only in the hearts of those to whom the objects of the world have no attraction, whom the sense objects do not attract even to a small extent. That is the peculiar quality and greatness of the Bhakti Yoga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishnar Pranamastu.